The Council thought their secret was safe. They believed that humanity had no idea what was coming. In their minds, Earth was blind, reckless, and far too trusting. In private chambers, alien leaders spoke with cruel certainty. "Strike first," hissed the scaled ambassador of the Zorath. "Destroy their colonies before they multiply." "Their numbers grow too fast," croaked the elder from the Jarl. "If we wait one more decade, we may not stop them at all." Every vote was filled with fear, not confidence. Fear of humans. Fear of their stubbornness, their creativity, their refusal to die when logic said they should. They did not understand humanity's silence. They thought it was weakness. On Earth, the silence was not weakness. It was strategy. In underground command rooms, men and women studied alien history. They learned every battle the Council had ever fought. They read every treaty, every betrayal. They calculated how fast ships moved, how quickly planets fell. And then they built answers. Ships faster than any alien design. Weapons that bent physics into shapes the Council could not imagine. And defenses so strong that even if Earth's surface burned, humanity would not be erased. Generals asked one another the same question. The galaxy whispered, "Why wait? Why not strike first?" And every time, the answer was the same. Because the Council must reveal themselves. Only then will the galaxy see who started the fire. The first spark came not from Earth, but from the Council. A fleet of Council warships appeared over a human colony at the edge of settled space. The colony was small, a mining world with little value. The Council thought it would be easy prey. Their message was cold and simple. By order of the Galactic Council, humanity is a threat to peace. This colony is hereby claimed in the name of galactic safety. Surrender or be destroyed. The colonists did not surrender. What followed shocked the galaxy. The Council unleashed fire, raining energy across the colony. But instead of falling, the colony's defenses awakened. Hidden cannons rose from beneath the ground. Shields flared to life, glowing with strange new energy. And human ships, small, fast, and armed with weapons no alien had seen, burst from hidden launch bays. For 3 days, the Council fleet fought. And for 3 days, the humans held. The galaxy watched in silence. Whispers spread faster than light. How did a single colony resist the Council's full fleet? What weapons did humans have that no one else could build? And why did Earth still remain silent? The Council tried to hide the news, but information was a wildfire. Smugglers, traders, and spies carried the story across the stars. Every alien race heard the same words. The humans did not break. And yet, Earth remained quiet. No declaration. No public fury. Just silence. Inside the Council, fear turned to unease. What if the humans had known from the beginning? What if their silence was not weakness, but a trap? No one spoke it aloud, but every leader felt the same chill. Why did humanity wait? The Council's fleet pulled back from the human colony, damaged and humiliated. They had expected a quick victory, something to show the galaxy that humanity was weak. Instead, they left behind wreckage, hundreds of dead, and whispers that spread like fire. Across the stars, species who had once feared the Council now began to doubt them. If the Council could not crush one human colony, then what else had they overestimated? Still, the Council pressed forward. They told themselves that the loss was a mistake, that humans had only been lucky. They believed that the next attack would be different. This time, they would send more ships, more soldiers, more fire. But Earth did not move. No fleets left orbit. No declarations were made. The humans simply remained silent. The silence disturbed the Council. They had seen how humans fought when cornered. They had seen the stubborn refusal to give up, the fire in their spirit that no other race carried. Now they wondered, why were the humans so calm? On Earth, commanders and leaders spoke in quiet rooms. They studied the first attack, analyzed every second of the battle, and measured the Council's strength. The generals wanted to strike back, to send fleets into Council space and show them that humanity was not prey but predator. Yet the leaders shook their heads. Not yet, they said. The galaxy is watching. Let the Council strike again. Let everyone see who starts this war. In the outer colonies, Fear grew. Families whispered that the council would return with more firepower, and maybe this time no defense would hold. Some begged Earth to intervene, to send ships and armies before it was too late. But Earth remained still, watching and waiting. It was not fear that guided humanity. It was patience. The leaders understood something the council never had. Wars were not won in the first battle. Wars were won by controlling the story, by showing allies and enemies alike who held the moral high ground. The next spark came sooner than anyone expected. A second human colony, larger and more prosperous, received the council's ultimatum: surrender or burn. But this colony had no hidden weapons. No secret fleet. Its defenses were old, its shields weak. The colonists sent a message back to Earth, voices filled with fear. They are here. We cannot hold. Please, help us. Again, Earth stayed silent. The council struck, and this time the colony fell. Cities burned, towers crumbled, and millions cried out as fire rained from the sky. The council broadcast their victory across the stars, desperate to erase the shame of their first defeat. But the silence that followed was not what they expected. The galaxy did not cheer with them. The galaxy did not see strength. Instead, they saw cruelty. They saw a council that destroyed the weak while still fearing the strong. And still, Earth did not move. No fleets. No vengeance. No fury. Just silence. Whispers filled every corner of space. Why does humanity not answer? Are they waiting for something? Or do they have a weapon so terrible that even the council fears it? The council laughed in public, pretending to be confident, but in secret chambers their voices shook. If humanity was truly broken, if Earth had nothing left, then why did they not beg for peace? Why did they not kneel before the council? Silence had become humanity's greatest weapon. The council believed that destroying the second colony would break humanity's spirit, but they were wrong. If anything, the silence that followed unsettled them even more. Other species in the galaxy began to notice it too. The humans were not pleading for help. They were not sending desperate messages. They were simply waiting. In council chambers, voices grew sharper. "We must strike Earth itself," one ambassador hissed. "Cut off the head, and the body will die." Another growled in reply. "Fools. Strike too hard and the galaxy will turn against us. They already whisper that we are butchers. If we burn Earth, we may gain nothing but fear." But fear was already spreading, only not the way they intended. Traders, smugglers, and mercenaries whispered about strange things seen at the edges of human space. Fleets that moved faster than they should. Ships that shimmered with an energy not yet known. Colonies that seemed undefended but somehow endured. The stories could not be proven, but every tale added to the mystery of humanity's silence. On Earth, the waiting continued. Deep underground, in hidden bases, men and women worked day and night. Engineers tested weapons that could pierce the strongest shields. Scientists prepared engines that bent the rules of travel itself. Soldiers trained not just for defense, but for an offensive war the galaxy was not ready to imagine. But still, Earth gave no sign. No fleet left orbit. No declaration was made. The people lived their lives as though nothing had changed, yet beneath the surface everything was ready. When the council struck again, it was not against a colony but against a convoy. Dozens of human freighters carrying supplies across the stars were ambushed. The council's warships tore them apart in minutes. To the galaxy, it looked like another victory, proof that humanity was losing. But for the first time, the humans answered, not with words, but with action. From the wreckage of the convoy, 3 ships emerged. Small, sleek, and unlike anything the council had ever seen. They moved too fast, their weapons too sharp. They tore through the council ambushes with terrifying precision. In less than an hour, the hunters had become the hunted, and the council fleet was gone. The galaxy trembled. The whispers turned to awe. What were those ships? How could 3 destroy so many? The council tried to hide the truth, but it was impossible. Survivors spoke of weapons that ignored shields, of engines that moved like lightning, of humans who fought with terrifying calm. And yet, even after the victory, Earth remained silent. No triumphant speeches. No threats. No promises of vengeance. The silence was worse than any words. The council began to realize what was happening. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was waiting. And the longer they waited, the more the galaxy began to wonder, what are the humans preparing for? The council grew restless. Each meeting in their grand chamber was louder than the last. The ambassadors argued, pointing clawed hands, waving tendrils, slamming fists of bone and metal against the tables. Some demanded a final strike on Earth to end the silence once and for all. Others warned that such an act might wake something far worse than they imagined. But the fear was spreading beyond the chamber. Civilian worlds whispered that humanity might already be stronger than the council admitted. Traders who had once carried council goods now began to avoid their patrols, worried they might be caught in the coming storm. Even races that despised humans started to wonder, if the council feared them this much, perhaps humans were not so weak after all. Meanwhile, on Earth, the silence was a mask. Beneath the surface, preparations had moved into their final stages. Massive hangars hidden under the oceans opened and sealed again in the dark. Starships larger than any colony had ever seen were being tested, their engines roaring with power that bent the laws of speed. In orbit, defense stations hummed with strange energy, weapons ready to strike out at anything that dared cross their path. The soldiers who trained inside those stations were not afraid, their voices were calm, their eyes steady. They knew the truth that the council did not. This was not a war for survival, it was a war for the right to exist among the stars. But still, Earth made no announcement. No words to the galaxy. No challenge to the council. Only silence. It was that silence that broke the council's confidence. They had expected fear, surrender, begging. Instead, they saw humans going about their lives, calm as the storm gathered. To them, that calmness was unnatural, dangerous, a sign of hidden power. So the council pushed harder. They launched raids on more convoys, hit smaller colonies, and destroyed supply stations. Each time, they told themselves that humanity would break. Each time, humanity stayed quiet. And then, like clockwork, more of those strange new ships appeared, fast and merciless, leaving behind wreckage where council fleets once stood. The galaxy noticed. Reports spread like wildfire. 3 ships destroyed an entire squadron. 5 ships broke a blockade and vanished before reinforcements arrived. A colony under siege somehow survived without reinforcements. The council tried to twist the narrative, claiming these were lies, exaggerations told by smugglers and human allies. But even their own commanders had begun to whisper. Their own captains feared being assigned to fight humans. The silence from Earth was no longer weakness. It was pressure, a weight heavy enough to make even the strongest alien leaders sweat. The galaxy waited, holding its breath, for the moment humanity would finally speak. And in the darkest chambers of Earth's command, the leaders agreed, the time to remain silent was almost over. The silence ended with light. It began at the edge of council space, where a fleet of warships patrolled a quiet border. They expected nothing, only routine scans, supply transfers, and boredom. Then the stars bent. Space itself rippled, like water struck by an invisible stone. Out of that ripple came ships, sleek and black, bristling with weapons no alien sensor could identify. The patrol raised alarms, shouting warnings across every channel. But before the messages could travel far, the human fleet moved. They did not crawl forward like council warships. They surged, cutting through the void with impossible speed. Missiles and beams struck, but the weapons humans unleashed were not like anything the galaxy had seen. Shields failed in seconds. Armor shattered. Entire ships tore apart before their captains understood what they faced. The battle was over in minutes, and the border patrol was gone, erased from the stars. News spread fast. Council officials tried to keep it quiet, but too many survivors had fled in escape pods. Their testimonies were the same. They came out of nowhere. They moved faster than light should allow. Our shields meant nothing. For the first time, the galaxy heard not just of human resistance but of human counterattack. Humanity had not only endured, they had grown stronger. Inside the council chamber, panic rippled. Some demanded immediate retaliation with their largest fleets. Others warned that more fleets would only mean more destruction. They argued like frightened animals, their voices rising in desperation. Meanwhile, Earth remained calm. The human fleet did not push deeper into Council territory. They destroyed what threatened them, then vanished into the dark. It was a message without words: we are ready. We can strike whenever we choose. On Earth itself, families lived beneath a quiet sky, but far below, command bunkers glowed with light. The generals studied the battle data, and the leaders nodded. The plan was working. Humanity's silence had stretched the Council thin. Their fear was growing. Their fleets were being forced into motion, chasing shadows and whispers, exhausting themselves. But this was only the beginning. Humanity had revealed just a glimpse of its power, enough to shake the galaxy. What came next would show the Council the truth: this was not a war they could win. And as Earth's fleets prepared for the next strike, one question echoed through every star system. If this was only the first counterattack, what storm was humanity still holding back? The Council could no longer hide their fear. In every session, their arguments grew more desperate. They sent larger fleets, built stronger weapons, and demanded total commitment from every allied race. Yet none of it felt enough. Humanity's silence had transformed into something worse than defiance. It had become inevitability. Whispers of a project reached alien ears. A name carried across captured transmissions, hidden in fragments of human code: Dawnfire. No one knew what it was. Some thought it a new weapon, others believed it a fleet larger than anything the stars had seen. The uncertainty gnawed at the Council more than the battles themselves. Every time the Council struck, humanity answered in shadows. A convoy would vanish, only for the attackers to be found destroyed days later. A blockade would form, and then suddenly collapse under strikes from ships that appeared and disappeared like ghosts. The pattern was clear: the humans were not simply surviving. They were testing, probing, and shaping the war on their own terms. For the first time, Council commanders began refusing orders. They claimed their fleets were too weak, their soldiers too afraid. To fight humans now was to die. Even mercenaries and smugglers avoided contracts that involved human space. The galaxy was learning a lesson the Council refused to admit: war with humanity was not a campaign. It was a slow execution. On Earth, beneath mountains and oceans, Dawnfire neared completion. Engineers worked without rest, their hands steady despite the pressure of knowing what they were building would decide the future of their species. Generals stood over glowing maps, their voices calm, their orders precise. And yet, to the galaxy, Earth remained still. No message. No declaration. No threat. Just silence. It was this silence that finally broke the Council's unity. Some argued to continue the war until humanity was ash and dust. Others begged for peace before it was too late. But no one dared reach out to Earth. To open talks meant admitting fear, and fear was something the Council had sworn never to show. But the truth was already visible. Humanity had become the predator, and the Council was the prey. The question was no longer if humanity would strike back with full force. It was when. And deep in the shadows of Earth's hidden command centers, the answer was being prepared. Dawnfire was almost ready to burn. The day finally came when the silence broke. Without warning, human fleets appeared above 3 different Council border systems at once. They did not arrive slowly through standard jump lanes. They emerged out of nothing, as if the void itself had opened and delivered them. The Council's defenses screamed alarms, but by the time their ships turned to respond, the humans were already in position. Messages flooded through the stars. They are here. They did not give demands. They are just waiting. The human fleets did not fire first. Instead, they broadcast a single signal across every channel, translated into every language of the Council. The message was simple, spoken in a calm voice that carried no rage, no fear, only certainty. You declared war. We are here to finish it. For long moments, nothing moved. The Council fleets hesitated, caught between terror and duty. Then, in desperation, they opened fire. Beams of light and volleys of missiles streaked across the void. But humanity had prepared for this moment. Shields flared, stronger than anything the galaxy had seen. Weapons cut through enemy lines like blades through paper. Council ships fell one after another, torn apart in brilliant bursts of fire. Entire squadrons vanished in minutes. Planets that had relied on Council protection suddenly found themselves exposed, watching helplessly as the humans advanced with frightening precision. The galaxy watched, stunned. For years, they had known humans were stubborn, resourceful, impossible to crush. But this was different. This was not survival. This was dominance. Humanity was no longer waiting. Humanity was showing what it meant to be feared. On Earth, the leaders watched quietly as the reports came in. Every victory was expected, every move calculated. The plan was unfolding exactly as they had prepared. Dawnfire had not even been revealed yet, and already the council was breaking. In the council chambers, chaos reigned. Ambassadors screamed at one another, blaming, accusing, begging for answers. Some demanded surrender. Others cried for vengeance, even as their fleets burned. But beneath their shouting, one truth echoed in every mind: humanity was not fighting for peace or for negotiation. Humanity was fighting to make sure no one ever dared threaten them again. And the worst part for the council was this: they still did not know what Dawnfire was, or when it would be unleashed. The galaxy held its breath as the council's core worlds prepared for humanity's arrival. Refugees poured across borders, fleets scrambled in every direction, and yet the humans came on with unshakable calm. Every battle told the same story: council ships fell, human ships endured. No trick, no strategy could slow them. Then, without warning, the silence shattered. Humanity revealed Dawnfire. It was not a single ship. It was not a weapon hidden in orbit. Dawnfire was a fleet unlike any other: massive vessels, each the size of a small moon, armed with weapons that made even the bravest commanders tremble. Their arrival was not hidden. Humanity wanted the galaxy to see. The stars lit with their engines, and the void itself seemed to burn. When the Dawnfire fleet appeared above the council's capital world, the council chamber fell into chaos. Leaders screamed at one another, demanding surrender, demanding resistance, demanding anything that could delay the inevitable. But deep down, they already knew. The human commander's voice filled every channel. Calm. Steady. Absolute. You declared war. We did not. But you will never threaten humanity again. The council's fleets moved to engage, but their attack lasted only moments. Dawnfire's weapons struck with such force that entire armadas vanished in bursts of light. Shields collapsed instantly, cities on nearby moons shook as space itself trembled. The message was clear: humanity could end them, here and now, if they chose. But humanity did not destroy the council's world. They stopped. The fleet held position above the planet, weapons glowing, waiting for an answer. In that silence, every ambassador felt the weight of extinction pressing on their shoulders. Pride broke. Fear won. The council surrendered. Across the galaxy, the message spread like fire: humanity had not only survived. Humanity had won. No one laughed at Earth anymore. No one doubted their strength. Humanity had proven the truth with fire and silence. They were not prey, not allies to be used, not enemies to be contained. They were a force the galaxy would never forget. And as the Dawnfire fleet pulled back into the void, leaving the council alive but forever humbled, the final words of the human commander echoed through the stars. Remember this war. It will never happen again.